Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Mind Your Exam. So in this video we will learn about another data structure provided by the R programming language, and it is the DataFrames data structure. So DataFrames is also a two-dimensional data structure like the matrix in R, but there is a difference between both of them. Matrix allows values only from one kind of data type, but DataFrames is also a 2D structure which allows different data type values in different columns present in it. Okay, so data frame is created using the data.frame function in R, and using this function we specify the rows and columns of the data frame. How do we do that? Each column is assigned a name and its values are specified using the C function or the sequence function. So here we are creating a data frame named employee. We are using the data.frame function of R, and this data frame would be a 2D structure containing 3 columns: ID, name and weight. Now the ID column would have 2 values, 11 and 12. The name column would have 2 values, Mary and Sal, and the weight column would also have 2 values, which is 50 and 52. Notice that each column has values of the same data type, but across different columns the values have different data types. Now since we are creating 2 values in each of the columns, so this data frame will have 2 rows and 3 columns. Now let's execute this data frame and get it printed and see what the result is. So we have executed this statement, we have created the data frame, and then we have printed this data frame named employee. As you can see, it has 3 columns: ID, which has values 11 and 12. Then the second column is name, which has the value Mary and Sal, and the third column is weight. Okay, now let's try to modify the values present in this data frame and access the values using the column names. So as we have shown here, one of the column names is weight. So one way of accessing the values of the data frame is using the dollar symbol. Whenever you have names assigned to elements, whether it is a list or a data frame, you can use the dollar sign and then specify the name of that element. In this case, we want to print the weight column of the data frame employee. So we are executing this statement, and in this case, when we execute, we will get the complete column. That means all the values that are present in the weight column of this data frame. Now, if we want to add a new row to this data frame, then we will be using the rbind function. So adding a new row means adding one value in each column. So a new row will be created such that each column will get a new value. The ID column will get a value 13, name will get a new value Alex, and the third weights column will get a new value 60. So what we are doing is we are binding row wise the existing data frame employee with a sequence of vector, or with a vector containing the sequence of values 13, Alex and 60. Now when we execute this statement, since we are binding an existing data frame with a vector, the result would also be a data frame. So new emp1 would be a data frame. Let's execute it and see. See, now you are getting this as the output, where we still have 3 columns: ID, name and weight, but a new row has been created. Notice that earlier there were only 2 rows. Now we are having 3 rows after adding the new row 13, Alex and 60 using the rbind function. Now similarly, what you can do is you can add a new column. Initially we defined 3 columns in the employee data frame, and the new emp1 data frame also had 3 columns. But now if I want to add a new column, say heights, then what is the way of doing it? we will apply the cbind or the column bind function on the data frame on which we want to add the new column, and then we will specify the name of the column and its corresponding values. So please be careful that this sequence of values should have the same number of elements as many rows are present in this particular data frame. So new emp1 has 3 rows, and that is why we are creating a new column which has 3 rows. So one value will be assigned to each of the 3 rows. Now when I execute this statement, I will get the result as a new data frame which has 4 columns: id, name, weight, and the new column heights has been added at the end. And as you can see, each row has got a value corresponding to the heights vector that we defined here. So this was all about the data frame data structure that is presented or present in the R programming language. I hope you have understood the concept. Thank you for watching. Till we meet in the next video. Mind your exam.